Hello, friends. Welcome to the Veterinary Life Coach Podcast. Today, I have a wonderful and exciting guest for you. Her name is Katharine Giovanni, and she is a three-time award-winning best-selling author, speaker, and one of the original founders of the independent concierge industry. Katharine has authored over 12 books, including her latest release, The Ultimate Path to Forgiveness: Unlocking Your Power. Katharine's journey is one of remarkable resilience, surviving stage 3 breast cancer and overcoming the hardships of a turbulent childhood. Her experiences have shaped her deep understanding of forgiveness and personal transformation. And that's what we're going to talk about today, forgiveness. So welcome to the podcast, Katharine.
Thanks
I'm
so much for
delighted to
having
have
me.
you. So
Thanks
excited.
so much.
And I learned in our brief conversation before we got on the podcast that she's an animal lover. So even better.
I love animals.
Yeah, that's great. That's what we need. Us veterinarians need all the support we can get, right? So, my first question to everyone that's on my podcast always is to tell me their story. So, can you tell me your story, as much or as little as you want to tell?
Well, to be calling myself a forgiveness and transformation coach implies that the universe has provided me with ample opportunities to forgive.
Yes. Yeah, I think
And
we're
it
all
has,
familiar with that, right?
an irritatingly large amount, shall we say.
Okay.
And it probably started in the eighth grade. I was terribly bullied in school because I was different, and my parents were very pickled. They were, they were raging alcoholics, and
Oh,
because of
wow.
all of these things, I tried to commit suicide, and a friend pulled me out of it, and I turned into one of those kids, you just kind of float through life, not really landing on anything. And number of years later, my mother fell down a flight of stairs, broke her hip, and ended up in the hospital. And even my mother couldn't get a gin and tonic in the hospital. So she dried out and we sent her to rehab.
Oh, wow.
And we became as close as sisters. We practically finished each other's sentences. We were tight. We forgave each other. We did everything together. We lived together. I mean, it was beautiful. And 3 years later, she died of breast cancer, which I inevitably
Oh,
got in
wow.
2012.
Yeah.
And everybody has a flashpoint in their life. Some people have more than one, it's what I call them. And you don't know you're going through it when it's happening, but when you look back at your life, you can see that one teacher or that one moment that absolutely changed your life. And
Mm-hmm.
this was mine. And I knew that if I didn't change my life, I was probably going to die like she did. And I didn't want to. So I quit drinking. And it was the only New Year's resolution I ever kept. And I have now been sober 35 years. And when you get sober, you go into what they call the rooms, you go into AA, and they tell you you have to make amends. Hmm.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of
Okay.
that.
And you have to reach out and call people. Okay. Your girl here, I'm an extroverted introvert right now because I taught myself, but back
Right.
then I was super shy. And we didn't have the technology of today. If I was allowed to text message these people, it would have
It would
been
have been easier.
brilliant. I would have loved it. But
Right.
back then, I'm as old as dirt. And back then, I had two choices. I could either call them up and risk getting yelled at, or see them in person and risk getting yelled at. So I didn't do either. So I just did it alone in my apartment and said, my apologies to the people. And I would imagine they were in front of me, and I did it in my apartment. And I accidentally stumbled onto the method that I'm using to this day.
Oh,
And it
so
was a
you kind of
complete accident.
invented it, huh?
Well, sort of. There's sort of. I just kind of stumbled on it by accident.
Okay.
And eventually I started teaching customer service. I've been teaching concierge for like 20, 25 years. And I had to come up with a way when you get angry at a customer, just like a vet, somebody really, excuse my language, pisses you off,
Right.
and you have to go on to the next patient. You can't just go out to your car or go take a walk. You
Right.
actually literally legitimately have to toss your anger and keep going. So how do you do that? So I came up with forgiveness. But back then you didn't introduce a soft topic to the business world. It just wasn't
Right.
done, you know? But I
Right.
did
Right.
because it was the only way I could come up with to get people to relieve their anger in the moment. And I have some fixes for that because I did it for a long time. But the thing about forgiveness, everybody teaches you to forgive your parents, your pastor, your teachers. Okay, how? How? Nobody teaches you how.
Yeah, like what does that actually mean?
Exactly. And
Yeah,
on a 10 scale, with 10 being unforgivable, dumpster fire, horrific, and 1 being the easiest person in the world to forgive, every single person who's watching and listening to this broadcast is thinking of their number 10 person. And that's fair because they rocked your world. They completely took the wind out of your sails. They hurt you the most. And that's fair. And
right,
that's why nobody wants to forgive because you think, and this is a false idea. If I forgive them, that means I'm giving in and they were right. It does not. I think that stems from our childhood when the teacher, you got punched in the eye and the teacher's like, now forgive each other and go play. Okay, why should I forgive her? She punched me in the eye, yet you're
right,
supposed to. And I think we all connected some dots that should never have been connected because just because I forgive you doesn't mean I'm telling you you're right. You're still wrong. You still probably have to make amends. You have to do what you need to do. In fact, you won't even know that I've forgiven you because I'm not going to tell anybody. I could do it alone in my apartment and never have to say anything. And just because I forgive you doesn't mean I want a relationship with you. I probably
yeah.
don't.
I think that's the hard part. Yeah.
I probably don't. Maybe you
Mhm.
want to make amends. Maybe you need closure. Okay, go for it. But you don't have to. Forgiveness for me is very simple. I want you out of my head. That's it.
Mm.
I
Oh,
want
I
to
like
stop
that
thinking
line a
about
lot.
you. I want
Get
to
them,
stop dreaming about you. I
get
don't
them
want to
out of your
walk
head.
into a bakery and smell chocolate chip cookies. Now all of a sudden I'm thinking about you again. I want the triggers removed. But
Mm.
that's what it is. I want you out of my head. Forgiveness is selfish. You do it for you. You don't do it for them. They don't care, and they're probably not even thinking about you, which is annoying
Right.
in of itself.
Well, especially when you're in that client, customer situation, they don't care. They just care about what they want. They don't
No,
care
they
if you
don't
like
care at
them or
all.
not, or if you forgive them or not.
And the thing about being in the moment with people I learned years ago is the person who's yelling at you in the moment, that's probably not who they really are. They probably were triggered and they're emotional, especially if it's an animal, right? I mean, they've
Sure.
been triggered. Their loved one is sick and we want you to fix them. And we've
Right.
Googled it, so we know what you're going to do. Oh, you're not going to do what Dr. Google says? Okay, now I'm going to get angry because I think you should be doing this, this, and this.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
how do you toss this anger? And it's hard, but the person that's yelling at you, it's probably not who they really are. It's probably not. They're in the moment, that kind of thing. But how do you
Right.
forgive all this stuff?
Yeah. That's fascinating. Okay. How do we do it? Well,
Well,
you have a different definition of what forgiveness actually means, right?
forgiveness legitimately means I want you out of my
Get them
head.
out of your head. Okay.
That's
That's your
that's
definition.
my
Okay.
definition.
I
It
love that.
doesn't mean you're right. Forgiveness is selfish. You do it for you.
Right.
And you don't
To
have to reach
clean
out
up
and
that
call these
story.
people.
You're kind of cleaning up what's going on for you with that person.
Exactly.
Okay.
Now, forgiveness doesn't mean I have to reach out to people. You can if you want to, but you don't have to. You can do it alone in your house all by yourself. So that being said, you can forgive dead people too, because where they are or are not doesn't matter a lick because they're
Right.
doing it for you. If they're alive and well in your head, you could forgive them.
Mm.
Now, the special sauce to the whole thing, because I get a lot of people who, and I'll go over the method in a minute, but
Okay.
the special sauce to the whole thing is I get people coming up to me all the time and said, Katharine, I did do the work. I did forgive them. Okay. But I'm still triggered by it. You see their name on Facebook or something, you run into them at a Christmas party or their family. Family really messes you up, right?
Yeah.
And so you go back down that rabbit hole. Well, how do you get it to stop? Well, Einstein very clearly proved energy is neither created nor destroyed. It just goes from one thing to another. So when you get angry, what do you think happens? It leaves your mouth and dissipates into the universe. Most people don't even think twice about where it goes. Well, it
Right.
doesn't. It hangs in your energy field until you clear it. Science has also taught us that everything in our world has an energy field around it, including this little silver microphone has an energy field around it. And that's the key to forgiveness because the reason you're getting triggered and the reason they don't stay forgiven is because you didn't forgive the energy.
Mm.
So my mantra
Interesting.
is very simple. In the middle of the method, what I'm going to have you do is I'm going to have you sit down and write a list of all the people you need to forgive. You're going to come up with the unforgivable people first. Those are to be the first one, two, three, four names on the list. And that's fine. That's fair. Keep writing. Don't judge. Don't judge the names you're writing down. And I want you to include people from your childhood. Write them down. Don't judge the names. And if you write a name down and you don't have no idea why you wrote this name down, that's fine. We're going to forgive it anyways, because some part of you wants to forgive whoever that was. And then I want you alone in a room. And here's the really hard thing for people. I really want your cell phone off. There's an off button on it.
Yeah, people have a hard time doing that, right?
It's an off button. Now, if you're visibly twitching at the idea of turning your phone off, and you should reboot it anyways every once in a while because it's good for it, turn it onto mute. And I don't want it vibrating because then it's gonna dance on your desk, right? It's gonna dance and you're gonna be
Right.
distracted. And then I want you to look at your list and I want you to rate these people from 1 to 10, with 10 being horrific, unforgivable, and 1 being the easiest person in the world. The person who cut you off on I-95 South yesterday, you can forgive them. The person who stole your parking space yesterday and you had your blinker on, you can forgive this person. Your football team lost last week. Come on now, you can forgive them. They had an off week. Easy, easy, easy people that you just
Right.
got mad in the moment. Okay. And then I want you to sit somewhere where you're really comfortable. All humans have to be out of the room. Little humans, big humans, whoever is in your house with you, they have to be out. Your animal can be with you. Your dog, your cat, your alpaca, whatever you want, can be in the room with you. And then I want you to get very comfortable. You don't have to meditate or anything. Put your hand in your chest, on your heart, because that's going to remind you to say the words from your heart. And the words are really just for us stupid humans. It's the energy behind the words that mean the most. And then I want you to imagine the person is in front of you. Just pretend they're standing in front of you. And if it's somebody from your childhood, I don't want you to pretend the adult is there. I want the kid in front of you. The kid that knew, the kid that bullied you. That's who I want standing in front of you. And then you're alone in a room. This is your party. You can cry if you want to. You can cry, tell them anything you want. Things that you've always wanted to say. Say it out loud to them, yell at them, scream. I don't care what you do, whatever you want. Or don't say anything at all. If it's a level 1 person, you're probably not going to say anything because it's super easy. And then put your hand in your heart and then say, I completely forgive Julie. I completely forgive the energy around Julie. I completely forgive myself. I forgive the energy around myself. I completely forgive the energy around the entire relationship. And so it is. Amen. Go with God. End it any way you like. And then check in with your body. Are you still angry? Is it still a level 1 or did it go down to a 0 and is it gone? If it's gone, cross their name off the list, go to the next one. Was it a level 4 person and now they're a 3? Okay, more work to do. This is a marathon, not a sprint. Shadow work is which is what this is called. It's kind of hard. Cross out the 4, put a 3, wait 24 hours and do it again. This happened to a friend of mine. Was
So
it a level
it's kind of a
4
daily practice that you're starting.
every night before you go to bed?
Okay.
And there's a reason why I want you to do it before bed. But the last one is, was it a level 4 person and you check in with your body and now you're so angry, it jumped right up to a 9. Why? We're supposed to be going down the other way because your brain is the most beautiful, amazing, fantastic tool. It protects you like an overprotective best friend. And there's a closet in the back of your mind that's been padlocked for decades. And there's a movie playing in that closet that you didn't even know was there. You turn it off if you knew it was there, but you didn't know it was there. It was affecting your life. And what you did is forgiveness is like an onion. You just forgave the first layer. And now your brain is going, ooh, Julie's ready.
There's
She
more.
just she just used the secret password to get into this closet. So it's going to open up that closet and it's going to flood your brain with memories you've forgotten. And you're going to
Mm,
sit there and all of a sudden you're going to be, excuse my language, pissed off.
yeah,
So that's
that sounds
fine.
fun.
Put the new number next to the person, wait 24 hours, do it again. But I want you to start with the easy people. And when you rate these people from 1 to 10, you could have 20 number 5s. I actually don't care. You could skip a number. I also don't care. But what I really care about with all my heart is you start with the easy ones and you save the dumpster fire for last. They are dead last. I want you to go through all the easy ones first before you even get there.
Okay. So let me go through the steps again to make sure I got it because I took some notes, but sometimes I don't get it all. So you're going to list all the people that you would like to forgive or you feel like you're holding on to something, whether it's
Correct.
anger or hurt or whatever, right?
Something.
Then you turn your phone off, rate them, sit down alone in a room,
Hmm.
hand on your heart, imagine the
Right.
person in front of you, and then I completely forgive this person, their energy, forgive yourself, your energy.
Yep.
Yeah. And then forgive the energy around myself. Did you say that?
Yep. Of the
Okay.
energy around the entire relationship.
Ah, okay.
The
That's where I
energy around them, the energy around me, and the energy around the whole thing.
okay.
But this is just a piece of the pie. I'm going to stretch your brain even
You're
further
gonna do
now.
more. Okay, so
Oh,
so
yeah.
my note taking is gonna get extensive, huh?
And there's worksheets and stuff in the book as well. Now, when
Yeah,
it comes
I kind of like
to,
to write stuff down because it helps me focus. So that's why I take notes when I'm talking to
oh,
people.
I do too. I've got all sorts of yellow pieces of paper all over my desk all
Yeah,
the time.
I'm an old school note taker. Okay, so I think I got all that.
So when you're dealing with the unforgivable, they're a bear. And you're not going to get a number 10 person down to a one overnight. It's not going to happen. You're going to
Okay.
have to chip away at it. So part of the process is another thing that we have discovered is not only can we clear the energy around people, but you can also forgive people, places, and things.
Mm,
So let me give you an example. Let's
that's
say you're
interesting.
driving down the road. You always make a left to go to work. Today you make a right. You don't know why, you just did. And it happens to take you by your old high school. And you kind of notice it out of the corner of your eye. And you had a beautiful morning. You had good coffee. You had a great conversation. It's a 70 something degree day, beautiful, sunny. You should be in a great mood. You arrive at work grumpy. You start biting everybody's heads off. And people are just looking at you, and your staff is saying, "Why are you so angry today?" And you have no idea. You think, "Well, maybe I didn't sleep as well as I thought I did." You slept great last night. What happened? You saw your high school out of the corner of your eye, and it started the movie in the back of your head. You were bullied
Yeah,
in that high school, and the
right.
movie started to play in that back closet. So, how do you get rid of it? Okay, maybe you're not ready to forgive the bully. I know I wasn't. This is one of my own memories, and I couldn't forgive the bully from grammar school. In fact, I couldn't even forgive the energy around the bully. I didn't want to. I was angry, so I picked apart the memory. I forgave, and this is true, I'm not kidding. I forgave the school building and the energy around the building. I forgave the desk that I sat at and the energy around the desk. I forgave the chair, the playground, the swings, the kids who stood around and didn't help me, and the energy around all of these things. I forgave the playground, the grass, the sidewalk. I forgave New York City. I actually did. That's where I grew up in New York City. And the energy around the city. Anything that was a trigger, I forgave. And I still haven't forgiven the bully yet. But that 10 is now to a 9 because the energy, I've forgiven a lot of the energy and it's not triggering me as more. So now I've checked into my body. Am I ready to forgive the bully? No. Okay, well, maybe I'm ready to forgive just the energy around the bully and not the bully itself. So I'm just going to forgive the energy. I'm not even going to say the person's name. I'm going to say, I forgive the energy around Martha. And that's it. I'm not saying I forgive Martha. I'm just forgiving the
Right.
energy. It took
Hmm.
me a long time to get my father down from a 10 to a forgivable level. It took a really long time. And the way I did it is I picked apart memories. He used to keep us at the dining room table and lecture us for hours when he was drunk. It probably wasn't hours, but I was a kid.
It
It
felt
felt
like
like hours,
hours, right?
right?
10 minutes feels
And
like
so
40.
I forgave the dining room table and the energy around the table. I forgave my childhood home, my childhood bed, my childhood desk. I forgave the chairs that I sat in. And eventually
Hmm.
I was able to forgive my father. Now, to prove my point, you fast forward, I actually inherited that table. And when we moved, we were downsizing. And my sons, who were both adults, I said, "Do you want the table? Because we're not going to take it with us because we don't have a dining room."
Big,
And my
yeah.
older son looked at me and he said, "No." And I said, why? It's a perfectly good table. He said, that's the homework table. I have horrible memories of that table. I don't want that stupid thing. You
So
hold
he didn't
memories.
forget. He didn't forgive it.
Not even a lick. Well, and I'm from New York. We're not forgetting anything. There's no such thing as forgiving and forgetting. But what I can promise you is neutrality. That's how you know you've completely forgiven somebody because you can look at their name, you can meet them at a party, and there won't be any emotional charge there anymore. You won't care. You're not going to
Mm,
think good. You're not going to think bad. I saw an old business partner of mine on Facebook a couple years back. And usually seeing her name would send me right to the ceiling and I'd have to go decompress and I'd be all angry.
right.
I looked at her name and I caught myself and I thought, wait, I'm
I
not
don't
angry.
care. Yeah.
And it was her birthday. Wished her a happy birthday. Hadn't done that in years. And I thought, wait a minute,
Oh,
I'm not angry. I
right,
legitimately don't care about this person. I'm not trying to be mean. I just didn't
right,
care. Not good,
right.
not bad. It's freedom.
Yeah.
Absolute freedom. I can look back at my childhood and I can see the love that was trying to, and the adults that were trying to help that kid. I could see the pockets of love back there now. Now, so have I forgotten it? No, I've got a different perspective.
Right.
Can I regurgitate? I'm using that word purposely. Can I regurgitate those horrible, horrible memories? Maybe, maybe, but I remember the love that was there instead.
Yeah. That I think that's the thing that gets people the most struggle is the
Yeah.
fact that they feel justified in that anger or justified in that hurt or just like there's some justice there and they have trouble letting that part of it go. So what do you say about that? Like
It
it's not
becomes your
fair.
identity. It becomes your story, your identity. I was a
Right.
child of alcoholics. I'm a sober, alcoholic myself. 35
Right.
years sober.
Yeah.
I survived breast cancer. I survived suicide.
Right.
This is my story.
Yeah. And you don't
And
want to
if I
let that
lose
go.
my story, who am I?
Mm,
That's really scary. But
right.
you're down here to be your authentic self. Let me give you a visual. And for anybody listening to this broadcast, hop over to YouTube and I'm going to walk you through anyways.
And watch
I,
it. Yeah.
I'm holding a purple coffee cup to my side. This purple coffee cup represents bitterness, anger, regret, grudges, resentment. But look at my body language. When I first get angry, look how easy. I can manage my anger. I'm coming to you for a session. You're like, you're angry. No, I got this. I can manage my anger. This is
No
super
problem.
easy. This is no problem. Well, of course it's no problem because it's easy. It's not heavy yet. But if I continue to stay angry and I don't forgive and I don't let anything out of this cup, it's going to start to get heavy. So now I'm using two hands to hold up the cup. I can still conduct my life, but look at my body language. It's starting to trip me up. You and I can still have a conversation. I can go to work. I can go out to dinner with friends. I can go to the movies. But it's starting to get into my mind, isn't it? And if I
Right.
continue to hold on to it, it's going to get so heavy. Now I'm holding the cup in front of my face. My arms are engaged. My life has stopped. I can't see you anymore. All I'm
Right.
talking about is my anger. It's all I'm thinking about. And even if I spin the stories funny, I'm still talking about them.
Right.
Who wants to be around a negative Nelly like that? You're losing friends. You're starting to get sick. And I'll explain how anger is toxic. There's science behind that.
Mm-hmm.
And now, if you use my method by only forgiving the ones, twos, and threes, the easy people, what's that going to do for you? Now it's back off to my
Lighten
side.
the
Look at
load.
my
Yeah.
body language.
Yeah.
I haven't gone to the unforgivables yet. I haven't even reached them. I'm only forgiving the easy people. But look, my life is opened up now. I can see that money-making opportunity. I can now see people coming into my life. I can see a new relationship. Why didn't I see it before?
Yeah.
Because my anger was acting like a shield.
Yeah.
So
And
forgiving is going to open up your life because you're going to start to notice other things besides the anger. You'll even be able to hear your intuition because anger will block your intuition. So the person you came to the planet to be, the authentic person, you're finally going to be able to be that person because your anger isn't going to act as a shield any longer.
and then does your story changes then, I'm assuming, because you have the experiences, but you're no longer defined by them. I'm guessing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're
Okay.
not living them anymore, and you're
Right.
going to flip your story. The bad stuff isn't going to matter anymore, and you're going to find new people. Jim Rohn is a very famous motivational speaker, and he says that this you are the sum of the five people you spend the most time with. So when you forgive, there's some stuff that's going to happen to you. Your
Right.
like energy attracts like energy. So some new people are going to come into your life, which is brilliant. They're going to be better people, forward thinking people, people that think like you. This is fabulous. I love this. Okay, but there's another side of the coin. On the other side, you're going to have jackrabbits. Why? Because they can't stand the new energy and they don't like it. So they're just to leave. They're going to ghost you. I had a bunch of jackrabbits and it hurt. These were really good friends of mine and I've never seen them since. And then
Really,
you're going to
because
have
you
the
changed your
saboteurs.
energy.
Well, then you're going to have the saboteurs. You usually live with these people or their family. As I said, family really messes you up.
Yes.
And these are the people who want you to stay the same. They like the old you. They like the broken you because
Mhm.
your brokenness makes them feel better. So they're going to try and sabotage it because they don't want you to get better. They don't want you to lose your anger. They like it.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's up to
Because
you. Who do you want to
it's
spend your
part of
time
their
with?
story then too, right?
You are part of theirs. Yeah. And you can try. A friend of mine said her mother was really, really angry, was a client of mine. And I said, well, what did you do? And she said, I bought your book and I left it in the middle of her coffee table.
As a
And
little
I
hint.
said, did it help? And she's like, no, she didn't read it. But when I go there, at least it reminds me of things. And it's still there. You could lead a horse to water. You can't make it drink. But, it
Right.
was a good shot.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. Okay, so
Th-
tell me why anger is toxic. You said you're going to tell us why anger is toxic.
People love to say that, right? It's like,
Mhm.
forgive people. Okay, how should I forgive them? Okay, well,
Right.
anger is toxic. Okay, how? And
Right.
tell me why,
Yeah,
how
how
it
can you
gets
not
into
get
my
angry
body.
when people do X, Y, and Z? Yeah, that everyone will give you the reasons why they should be angry.
Right. And they'll say, well, anger it raises stress and it's going to be causing heart attacks and stuff. Okay, how? So here's the how. And you can Google this, it's right online. It's called the
Okay.
Japanese Water Study by a guy named, I can't get his name right to save my soul. It's a Hasumoto, something like that. But it's right on
Okay.
the first page. You'll see
All
it
right.
right there, Japanese Water Study. And in the interest of time, I'll just say it quick. He took several containers of water. One container of water, all he did was talk to it. Stay with me. Said beautiful words to it. I love you type of words. That's all he did. The other container of water, hate, hateful words. Absolutely the most hateful things he could think of. He spoke to this water. Then he froze the water and he put it under a microscope. The water he spoke love to had these gorgeous formations, like crystal formations that were really gorgeous. They're right online. It's really cute. It's really, really cool. The water he spoke hate to had these black and brown, sick looking malformations kind of feeding into itself. So, why am I telling you this? Your body is 95% water. So, when your self talk is bad, when you're filled with hate and hate and bitterness and resentment, and you're holding grudges, what do you think you're doing to the water cells within your own body? You're literally making yourself sick. And as you forgive, you're going to be transforming those water cells from dark to light. So you're literally changing your body chemistry as you do it. The reason I want you to do this before you go to bed is because your body heals itself when it's sleeping. And I never want you to do more than 10 names a night. And if you're doing a high number name, like an 8, 9, or a 10, only do one. And the reason I want you to do this is because you'll make yourself sick. This might be a shocker, but I'm a little bit of an overachiever. And I do
Yeah, I
my
think
own,
from your bio, it kind of shows that. And
yeah.
just so you know, and you probably know this already, is most veterinarians are overachievers too.
Oh, my
Perfectionists,
people.
perfectionists and overachievers. Yeah, very, very common. And introverts. You said you were an introvert at one
I
time.
am.
Yeah. So
So
you're talking to the right people.
when you do your list, your knee-jerk reaction is to do exactly what I did. I wrote a list and there must have been 40 or 50 people on the list. And I thought, I'm going to do this before bed. I'm going to knock out every name. I'm going to be like a phoenix rising from the ashes. I'm going to wake up tomorrow morning and it's going to be a brand new day. Ah,
Doesn't work that way.
It didn't work that way. I did forgive many people on the list. Legit. I did. I tossed a lot of it. And then I spent the next 3 days in bed with what everybody thought was a stomach flu. It was
Yeah.
not the stomach flu. It was those, remember those water cells? Well, your body has to toss them. It has to toss that dark energy. And if you only do a few a night, your body will heal itself when it's sleeping. I did
Slowly.
too
Yeah.
many, and my
Yeah.
body had to play catch up. So if you're in the bathroom after you do this process, it doesn't mean you ate bad fish. Your body is just trying to transmute it. But 9 out of 10 people will get really, really tired, which is why I want you to do this before bed. You'll get really sleepy. Some people, when they absolutely forgive, feel energy leaving their body. Their shoulders will get lighter. They'll feel energy from their solar plexus, which is right above your belly button, right in the middle of your body. They'll feel something. But most people just get really tired. Some people, like yours truly, end up in the bathroom for a little while. And don't take it personally. It's just your body trying to catch up and getting rid of some really ancient anger that you've been holding in your DNA for a very long time.
Yeah. So how do you relate, and you probably already answered this question, but how do you relate this exercise
Hmm.
and then turn that into forgiving yourself? Because veterinarians are very hard on themselves and we make mistakes because that's part of our job, right? Once in a while,
Hmm.
something's not going to go well. And we have a tendency to hang on to that. All those cases that didn't go right, all those clients that yelled at us. And the clients I can see as being part of your list. But
Right?
what do you do with you? How do you forgive yourself, I guess?
Your timing on this question is pretty good because I just finished the first draft of my second book yesterday.
Oh, beautiful. I love that.
And it's not going to be out till this summer, but I just finished the first
So we
draft
can
of
get
it.
the preview of this
That's
chapter.
right.
Okay, I
The
love that.
the second book is how to forgive yourself and how to forgive the unforgivable, to truly forgive them. So my answer is the same as the actual practice. Instead of making a list of all the people you need to forgive, you're going to make a list of all the people that you want to forgive you. And you might include memories of things that you wish you had done, things, places you wish you hadn't gone, that kind of thing. So
Okay,
it's your list is going to be reversed. You're going to write down the people, places, and things where you need people to forgive you,
I see. So
right?
so by doing that, you're forgiving yourself.
Right.
Okay.
And then you have to include some memories of people that you need to forgive. You want them to forgive you because you said something that you shouldn't have, or you got into a car that you shouldn't have, or you did something that really messed them up. This is the kind of list that I want you to do. These are people that you might have verbally abused or said something horrible, or a client you knew you shouldn't have done it, but you did. You shouldn't have gone there. You went there. You were having a
Right.
bad day.
Yeah.
That client needs to be on this list because you want them to forgive you. And the
Right.
mantra is a little bit different. Instead of
Okay.
saying, I completely forgive Julie and the energy around Julie, you'll say something, and I just wrote this yesterday, so now I'm going to have to paraphrase my own work. I am, let me think if I can remember exactly because I twisted it a different way. I am so happy that Julie forgives me,
Hmm.
and and the energy around this thought.
Got you.
So you're
Yeah.
going to flip it. Instead of
So it's
I
very
forgive
similar,
Julie, you're
but
saying, I am so happy that Julie forgives me and
right.
she forgives the energy around me. And
And then
then
I
I
forgive
completely
me.
forgive the energy around Julie. So you're
Gotcha.
literally flipping the mantra. So instead of me forgiving you, now you're forgiving me.
Right, right. So
And I
when you
want you to go from easy to hard. Remember, if you've
sure,
got one client that's really dark I want you, the list is the same. I
or
want you to rate them from 1 to 10.
one experience that you're really beat yourself up for.
That's 10.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So you want to take it from the easy things to forgive yourself for to the really hard things that you constantly beat yourself up about.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, we'll
Yeah,
take one of mine. I
makes
was
total
very
sense.
angry at my father, and I managed to get him all the way down to a 1. And then a couple weeks ago, I was sitting here and I remembered a memory because I was really angry at him. I didn't let him walk me down the aisle when I got married because I was mad.
Mm, yeah.
And I sat here and I thought that probably hurt his feelings. And I had a little aha moment and I thought, wait a minute. Once you forgive somebody from a 10 and you go all the way down to a 1, then you have to go back the other way. because there's stuff that you probably said to that person that hurt them.
Yeah.
So forgiveness, it's like a spiral, and you're kind of never done with it. Humans irritate other humans. There's always somebody that you need to forgive. But
Right.
once you go through your list, then there's a bunch of things that you need to forgive yourself for, and you have to go back the other way. And
Right.
that's how ultimately you forgive yourself, because we're human. We've all made mistakes. You did something in high school that you probably didn't like. You weren't a mean girl, but maybe you did something that I shouldn't have said that. That was wrong. It's like kicking a puppy. I shouldn't have done that.
Right.
These are the memories that you need to put down on the list
Yeah. Yeah. And then things are going to keep coming up, right? You're going to have to forgive people every day.
every day, every day. But
Yeah.
it's also one of the things we were talking about before we started recording is it's a little exercise that I used to give people all the time. And I was taught, I know I'm talking to a whole mess of veterinarians, and you can disagree with me if you want to, but I learned that dogs don't get PTSD. I was fascinated by that. And they told me the reason they don't get PTSD is because they shake it off. Like Taylor Swift says, shake it off. And this is an ancient yoga and Qigong move by shaking your body. When you get
Mm.
stressed, literally shaking your arms out and shaking yourself. Now, do it alone because you're going to feel like an idiot when you do it. If you do what I just did in public, people are going to look at you like you've got COVID and they're going to think you're crazy. But shaking your arms out. One of my sons is a federal law enforcement officer, and when he's in a real stressful situation, when he gets back into his cruiser alone, he'll shake his arms out, he'll try and shake his legs out, and he'll kind of go like this
Oh,
and shake
yeah.
it off like a dog shakes off water and stress. You
Right.
do it. And I can't tell you, it's wild how much it makes you feel better. And I couldn't even tell you why. It just does.
Yeah.
So
So
if you're
that's a
on the
little
job and
lesson
you're
we
a
can
vet
learn from
and
our dogs.
one of your patients, not the patient, because the patient's adorable, but if the patient's family makes you stressed and you have to go to the next exam room, go into the hall and shake out your legs and shake out your arms and kind of shake your head a little bit and then walk in. You're going to feel a
Yeah.
lot better.
Yeah. Changes the body chemistry and the
It
energy,
does.
like you say.
It does. Just
Yeah.
shake it off, literally. Taylor
Yeah.
Swift really meant what she said in
That was
that
a good song,
song.
right? Whoever wrote
Shake
that
it
song.
off.
I don't know if she did, but so how do you know um when you're there? Like how, because it's a long, like you've got this long list, you feel like you forgave the tens. How do you know if it's gonna stick or is it not? Is it gonna keep coming up and you're gonna have to keep going back?
It might come back once. You might go out in the world and you see something. Let's say it's Thanksgiving and you have to sit next to Aunt Martha. I use Aunt Martha as an example all the time because I don't have an Aunt Martha. Safe name for me. And
Yeah,
if you have an Aunt Martha that you love, just substitute a name that you want, right?
but you don't
But Aunt
care, right?
Martha, every family is the same. My mother used to say every family is the same, only the names are different. So we all have an Aunt Martha. Aunt Martha drinks. She doesn't shower very often, so she kind of smells too. And every year you have to sit next to Aunt Martha, and she's got a mouth. I mean, she will swear like a sailor, and she loves to push your buttons and make you mad. I mean, it brings joy to the woman's face, and everybody knows it. And usually you're the target. A lot of the time you're the target. You've begged your parents to please put me at the kiddie table. I don't care. Just get me. You're always within earshot of Aunt Martha. So what do you do?
Right.
Okay, well, a few months before Thanksgiving, I want you to pick apart some of the memories. Write down a few of memories, a few Thanksgivings and Christmases or Easters or whatever memories you have, and write down, let's say, 5 of them, and then rate them from 1 to 10. I'm not even making you do 10. You may not have 10. You might have 3. And then I want you to pick the easiest one and I want you to pick apart the memory. I'm serious. Forgive the table you sat at, the energy around the table. Forgive the chairs and the energy around the chairs. Forgive the room where you are and the building you're in. And then go to the next one. What is this going to do for Aunt Martha? Not a darn thing. But as you forgive memory by memory by memory, remember, and maybe eventually you could forgive Aunt Martha. Many people can. When you see her at the next Thanksgiving, she is going to push your buttons and it won't work.
Yeah.
And if
Because
it does
you've
work
done the
a little
pre-work.
bit, Well, if it does work a little bit, then you've gotten her number 10 down to a 5. You still have a little more work to do. You
Right.
haven't gotten the 10 down to a 1, but it's not where it's she's not pushing your buttons as bad. And then
Right.
it's really worked is when you can laugh at her. She's going to push your buttons and it's not
Right.
going to affect you at all. You're not going
Right.
to care.
Let
And
it
that's
go
the
in one
brilliance
area
of
or
it. You
the
could
other.
go walk into a room and your ex is there and you won't care. You're not going to want to throw a dart at him. You're
Right.
not going to care.
Yeah.
That's joy. That's freedom. That's the ultimate of freedom. And isn't that what we all want? So now you're free to do whatever you want. She's
Yeah.
still going to push people's buttons. So Aunt Martha will still continue to be Aunt Martha, but she
Yeah.
won't affect you because you won't care.
Yeah. So how does that work into boundaries? Like how do you take this forgiveness concept and forgive the people, but then still protect yourself from further trauma, if that makes sense? Or don't you
It
have to?
does. I had to do it myself.
Okay, tell me how, or tell me a little bit about that.
Just because I forgive you doesn't mean I want a relationship with you.
Yeah.
Just because my father passed away years ago, and just because I finally forgave him, didn't mean I wanted to display his picture in my living room. It's actually inside a cabinet.
Yeah.
My mother's picture's out because we made peace with each other and I have great memories. But just because I forgave him doesn't mean I want to stare at his face. No disrespect intended. But
Right.
he's in a cabinet. Just
Yeah.
because I forgive my ex-business partner doesn't mean I want to go have lunch with her. I don't. I have
Right.
boundaries in place. I may not even pick up the phone when they call. Boundaries. If they're a narcissist or an abuser, boundaries.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
just because I forgive you doesn't mean I'm going to make amends. I probably won't in many
Right.
cases. It means that I want to be free of you.
Okay. I love that. Because that I think is the reason that a lot of people don't want to go down this forgiveness path because they think that that means then they have to play nice with this other person.
You do not. You do
You
not
know,
have to
like
play nice
especially
with
when you're
them.
talking about clients or, the people that have pushed your buttons at work.
You're not going to be nasty. I mean, once you forgive these people, your knee-jerk reaction is probably not going to swear at them and say nasty stuff. You're literally going to go into Switzerland mode. You're going to be Switzerland. You're going to be neutral. You won't care.
Right.
You're not, and it won't even be worth your time to do because you're literally not going to care.
Yeah.
You're not going to want to throw acid on them anymore. You're literally not going to care.
And they're
And
not going to
that's
trigger
freedom.
your anger
Not even a little
because
bit.
you already handled it.
Now, if they trigger your anger a little bit, then, well, the 10 wasn't down to a 1. It was probably more reasonable. It's
Put them
probably
back
down to
in
a
a
5
two.
or a 6. Maybe you lied to yourself. That actually happened to me. And I thought dad was down to a 1. And then something came up and I thought, oh man, I'm mad again. You know what I'm saying? So I
Yeah.
had to raise him down and I thought I got you down to a 1, but no, he was at a 5. So I had to make some rounds. This is a
Yeah.
marathon, not a sprint.
Right.
Your number 10s this is going to take a minute.
Going to
And
take
it might
time.
bounce around for a little while, but when you finally get to that sweet spot when you can finally forgive them, you'll know. You'll
Yeah.
feel the energy leave your body. You'll look at their name on a piece of paper or run into them in the party and you won't care. But your friends are going to notice because you're not
Right.
going to react to your ex the same way you always do. You're not going to react to that client when they come in with their dog the same way you always do. And I always go, my tipping scales, I'm a concierge trainer. So my concierge training kicks in virtually immediately, and I'm the ultimate of, customer service. And never let them see your sweat. And I will be Susie Sunshine from Sunnybrook Farm. You'll never know. But I'm not walking away cursing them under my breath.
Right. And you're
I
not taking it
legitimately
home with.
don't care
I think the most damaging thing is we take a lot of these people home with us
all the
and
time,
and it's so unnecessary. And
all the
it
time.
hurts us. Yeah, I love that. So what did I not ask you that I should have before we start to get done with this podcast?
I think that a lot of women have this worthy thing. So
Mm,
I think my answer is for
truth.
two things. I think that women have a worthy thing. So you are worthy enough to live a life of joy. You are worthy enough to be happy.
Hmm.
And for the men, a bunch of about like last year, this gentleman came up to me and he said, "I don't agree with you. I like it when people say that. Okay. I like that. Challenge me.
Challenge
Okay.
accepted.
And I, yeah, bring it. Okay. And he said, I've made a lot of money in my life. And in my head, I'm going, okay, so, and I have a lot of homes and I've created a lot of successful businesses. And my concierge training kicked right in. And I'm in my head, I'm going, uh-huh. And he said, I did it on a bed of hate. I did it on my anger. I did it because I created this persona, and my anger is the fuel, the gasoline that got me where I am today.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about that. Sure,
Yeah, that's a fascinating statement, right?
sure.
Yeah.
You have a choice. You can take one of two trains. You can take the local or the express. Both trains will get you to your destination. But the local train is like going into a hotel and going up to the elevator, and you're going up to the 72nd floor, and some punk kid has pressed every button between 1 and 74, and you have to stop at every single floor. By the time you get to your destination, you are a puddle. You are a shadow of your former self. It's the same thing with the local. It's going to stop every single stop. And you can read as much as you want to, but at some point you're going to get irritated. You're going to get bloody. You're going to arrive a shadow of your former self. I was on that train. I know what it's like.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you rather get in the express? The express train will get you twice as far, twice as fast, filled with love, joy, and forgiveness than that little train of hate will get you. It'll get you that hate train, you'll get there. Well, it's
Right.
going to take a long time and it's not going to be pretty.
Right. Yeah, and you'll make a lot of enemies
Yep,
and really, like you said before, it's just so toxic to
it is.
your
It's
being. So you're
toxic to
going to even
everybody.
have more battles to overcome.
So yes, he did get to where he wanted to go, but the journey must have been very painful for him.
Horrible. Yeah.
It must have been horrible.
Well, and just that narrative that he gave you shows you that he's still suffering, right?
Oh, he was.
Because he disagreed with you
He
and
he said he had nothing to forgive. And if anybody's listening and thinking, well, this has been a great conversation and I really have nobody to forgive, I'm good.
right.
Okay. I like to play that game too. I
Yeah.
want you to repeat after me, say the following sentence 3 times a night for 5 days in a row. You may not have to say it 5 days in a row because that closet in the back of your mind is going to open eventually. I
Yeah.
want you to say, I completely forgive myself for not being able to forgive and the energy around this thought.
Mm,
Say that 3 times a night for the next week. And that closet will open and you will start to think of things. But humans irritate other humans. If you're a sports fan, your team lost. You probably got angry at that. Put them on the list. You
right.
know, you had road rage the other day because somebody cut you off. Put that car on your list. Somebody stole your parking space. The grocery store didn't have your favorite kind of beer and they were out, so you got irritated because you had to go to 3 stores to find it. Forgive the grocery store.
Forgive
There's
that. Yeah.
always stuff you could forgive.
Right.
Everything on the planet is forgiving. You can forgive politicians, dare I say, not going there.
Yes.
You
Yeah,
can
that I
forgive
was
the
going to ask you
war
about
in the
that.
Middle East.
Yeah.
What's it going to do for the war in the Middle East?
Right.
Absolutely nothing, but it's going to do brilliant things for your mind.
Yeah. It'll break you free.
Everything is forgivable. Anything on CNN is forgivable. If it makes you angry, it's forgivable. Put it on
Yeah.
your list.
Yeah. And then turn off the TV.
Well, yeah, if you want your life to be brilliant, turn off the television, don't watch the news, and don't get on the bathroom scale. There you go.
Oh,
Problem
I
solved.
love that idea. Yeah. I have a love-hate relationship with my scale for sure. So tell everybody where they can find you, find your books. Um, you've got the new book that just came out, right? The one that I talked about in the intro.
Yep.
But there's others.
Yeah,
Um,
I've written 12.
yeah. So tell them where they can find out all of that information.
You can go to Amazon. All my books are available on Amazon, and I have the audiobook because I understand not everybody likes to read, the
Yeah.
paperback and the ebook available. And my younger son produced the audiobook, and we're still speaking to each other.
Oh,
It's
nice. Was that a
it's not
hard?
as easy as you think.
I
It's
know. See,
it's hard.
my book isn't audioed yet, and I keep saying I need to do it, and I'm not looking forward to the battle.
It's really, I have such a mad respect for anybody who does voiceover work for any kind of movies because you think they just go in and they knock it off and then they're done. It is not as easy as you would think.
I
This is
bet not.
this is harder than you think.
Yeah.
And you could also go to my website, which is katharinegiovanni.com. And Catherine, thanks to my mother, is spelled a little odd. Thanks, Mom. Katharine Giovanni.com.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. All right. Any last things that we need to say before we kind of wrap this podcast up? It's been really fun listening to this, and I have 3 pages worth of notes. So I'm going to have to try this exercise because I know there's people that I probably need to forgive to lighten my load.
Well, I think I just want to remind people that at the end of the day, you don't have to forgive your unforgivables. It may not even be appropriate for you to do so if it's something that was really traumatic, like a rape or something like that. I mean,
Yeah.
it may not even be in the table, which is fine. So pick apart the memory, forgive everything else, forgive the energy, forgive yourself. You don't even have to forgive the energy around the person if you don't want to, but pick apart the memory and then forgive yourself for anything that you may or may not have done. I always add that
Right.
in when I'm dealing with a traumatic event because you may or may not have.
Right.
And forgiving the energy is going to help you out. It's like coming up to a brick wall and everybody said, let's blast through this wall. Yeah, okay. What I really want you to do is forgive a few things within the wall, walk around the dumb thing,
And
keep
leave it there.
going,
Yeah.
forgive what you can,
Right.
circle back later. And if you
Yeah.
never can circle back because it was so traumatic, just keep going. Forgive everybody you rate from 1 to 9. And eventually, if you don't want to deal with the 10, you don't have to.
Yeah. I love that. Well, this has been super fun to meet you and learn all these things. And I haven't heard this particular way of forgiving people, so I think it's very unique and it sounds doable.
That's the whole point. I mean, nobody knows how to forgive, and this was my effort to get people to learn how to forgive and see if we can change our world. Our world is so broken, and it's so filled with hate, and it's so filled with unhappy people. And if I can get people to learn this method, it's going to help change the tide.
Right. Yeah.
One human at a time.
Yeah, I absolutely believe that. Well, congratulations on the book. The name of the book is The Ultimate Path to Forgiveness, Unlocking Your Power. So everybody check that out. And it's Katharine Giovanni with an A, Catherine, in the middle. But it's been delightful to
Thanks,
meet you
Mom.
and really fun to get to know you. And I'm excited to read your book.
Thanks so much for having me. It's been fun.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us this week, everyone. Have a beautiful week. Bye. Bye, Catherine.